close. IU Insider Zach Osterman breaks down the Hoosiers' 74-63 loss at Michigan on Sunday. Zach Osterman, Zach.Osterman at IndyStar.com. IU Insider Zach Osterman previews the Hoosiers' upcoming game, with a look at key matchups, and talking points, and a score prediction. Sunday's game, number 22 U, 12-3, 3-1, versus Maryland, 13-3, 4-1, 7 p.m., Xfinity Center, College Park, MD. TV, FS1, Tim Brando and Donny Marshall, Maryland KenPom Ranking, 21-point spread, Maryland -5, KenPom projection, Maryland wins 74-70, 65% chance of Maryland victory. 3 strengths. Maryland forward Bruno Fernando, left, celebrates with teammate Anthony Cowan Jr. after a play against Nebraska, Wednesday on Jan. 2. Photo, Patrick Szymanski, AP, black small square length, sophomore big man Bruno Fernando sets the tone for the Terrapins with his skill, but also with his size. The 6'10" Fernando is one of 7 players in Maryland's rotation listed at 6'5" or taller. 5 of those players are 6'6" or taller, and Fernando and freshman Jalen Smith both stretch to 6'10", with rebounding, rim protecting and 2-point shooting to match. Black small square rebounding. Maryland entered Thursday a top 25 team nationally in both offensive rebounding percentage, and opponent offensive rebounding percentage. Coach Mark Turgeon's team pulls down nearly 37% of available offensive rebounds, and the Terps are stingy about opponents' second chances. Black small square elite PG play. Anthony Cowan has evolved into one of the Big Ten's best floor generals. His efficiency numbers are at career highs, and his turnover rate is at a career low. The junior has scored in double figures in every one of Maryland's games this season, most recently pouring in 27 in a win at Minnesota midweek. 3 weaknesses. Black small square ball security, with a turnover rate of 19.4%. Maryland is barely top 200 nationally in that statistic, and opponents are stealing the ball on almost 11% of possessions. Perhaps surprisingly, the Terrapins also have their shots blocked on 10% of possessions. Many of those numbers get worse in Big Ten play alone. They can be prone to wastefulness. Black small square youth. 7 of Maryland's top 8 players in terms of percentage of minutes played are freshmen or sophomores. KenPom ranks them number 348 in the country in experience. Black small square, forcing mistakes. Turnabout isn't particularly fair play for Turgeon's team when it comes to turnovers. The Terrapins are 11th in the Big Ten in league games alone in opponent turnover rate, and 12th in steal percentage. They rarely force the same errors they make. 3 to watch. 6-foot guard Anthony Cowan, no. 1. A third-year point guard with numbers that stack up next to any player in the conference at his position, save perhaps Cassius Winston. Cowan averages 17.4 points per game, 4.4 assists per game, and has his turnover rate at a career low. 6-10 forward Bruno Fernando, no. 23. Hot and cold at times as a freshman, Fernando has become one of the Big Ten's best all-around bigs in 2018. He averages a double-double, 14.2 ppg, 10.1 rpg, and leads the league with 2.3 blocks per game as well. Though he turns the ball over more than Turgeon would probably prefer, he's also committing fewer fouls, drawing more fouls, and getting to the free throw line more often. 6-10 forward Jalen Smith, no. 25. An able sidekick for Fernando, Smith hits 62% of his twos and is as big of a reason for Maryland's offensive rebounding success as his sophomore teammate. He's also averaging 15 points per game in Big Ten play. Prediction: this feels like one of those swing games for Indiana that can be the difference between finishing top 4 in the Big Ten, or somewhere down in the middle of the pack. But Maryland also feels like an unusually bad matchup for the Hoosiers, because of that length, Cowan's experience, and the difficulty you may have defending Maryland's size. One way to mitigate a size disadvantage is three-point shooting, but while the Hoosiers are improved there, they certainly aren't prolific. Getting freshman point guard Robert Finese back in the lineup would go a long way toward a win, perhaps letting you turn Devontae Green loose on Cowan defensively. But Finese still hadn't been cleared as of Thursday afternoon. And unless De'Ron Davis's ankle is closer to full strength, Juwan Morgan and Justin Smith will have their hands full inside. The game could turn on Indiana's guard play, and whether the Hoosiers can rediscover their early season penchant for forcing turnovers without committing many of their own. Those guards could also stand to knock down a few early threes. Otherwise, Maryland probably gets to dictate the matchups in this game, and thus, the flow of it. Maryland 78, U 70, Hoosier to click Morgan and Romeo Langford are key players, but this feels like a game where you need a bona fide third threat to step forward. Al Durham has shown that potential in fits and starts this season. He scored 18 points against Jacksonville, 13 against Marquette, 12 against Penn State and 11 against Arkansas. Durham has also quietly posted the fifth-best free throw rate, a statistic that measures free throw attempts as a percentage of field goal attempts, in the conference in Big Ten games alone. And while he isn't a volume three-point shooter, he's knocking down 41.5% of them. Morgan will have his hands full down low, and it wouldn't be surprising to see Maryland throw its length at Langford, to see if it can keep him quiet. The Hoosiers will need someone else to step up. Durham feels like a prime candidate. Follow Indy Star reporter Zach Osterman on Twitter, @ZachOsterman.